So today we're going to be running through an arse blast session. I like to say arse because it's the same word that it starts for with arms and abs. So at the end of all of these 3 videos, you'll be able to do an abs, arms and arse blast. But this is the arse blast component. So for this video, we'll be running through a couple of exercises that'll improve the tone of your bottom. So let's get cracking. So we'll lie on our back with our knees bent, feet flat on the floor and hip width apart. Arms will be down by our side, palms will be flat to the floor, shoulders drawing down and back and chin tucked. So for this exercise, we're going to have a neutral spine, which means you'll have a natural curve in your spine with your tailbone flat on the mat. We're going to move into pelvic curl number 1 without a band. So pelvic curl number 1 works through our bottom. Take an inhale, tighten your T-zone. Remember, if you're not sure if your T-zone's tight, you can pop your fingers just inside your T-zone here and check. And then on the exhale, we're slowly gonna start to roll 1 vertebrae at a time off the mat, lifting our bottom into the air and squeezing. And then we inhale back down towards the floor. Peeling your spine back to the mat, last thing to come down will be your tailbone. And all we do is we keep going, exhaling up, making sure when we come all the way up, we're not here. Okay, this is a yoga bridge. We want to keep nice flat abdominals before we inhale back to the floor. So for this exercise, really focus on squeezing your shoulders down and back, keeping your chin tucked, spine stays neutral, and squeezing the bottom at the top of the movement. Knees stay parallel. No need to move them. Good, and really just focus on your bottom. So this is your warm-up. Just do 1 more here. And then at the end of this exhale, hold your bottom in the air. We're going to move into an exercise that might be challenging for some of you actually. So this requires you to open and close your knees without dropping your bottom. This is called pelvic curl number 2. And all we need to do is keep our T-zone locked on, guys. So for some of you, you might drop your bottom in between. I really want you to focus on squeezing your bottom, keeping your bottom up towards the ceiling. Good. So if you can start to speed those little flaps of your knees in and out, good. Really squeeze. So you're going to start to feel it burn. It doesn't take long. Your bottom is the biggest muscle group in your body, so your bottom muscles. So it doesn't take long for them to start warming up. I just want you to do 2 more here. And very gently inhaling back down towards the floor. Great. So we're going to make that exercise a little bit harder now. We're going to grab hold of a resistance band. So if you have a set of my bands, this is the black band. You can choose between the black band or the pink band for this exercise. So taking that band back around your legs, we're just going to take it above our knees. Feet are going to go back on the floor, but what you'll notice is your knees want to fall back in on each other. Good, that's what we want to achieve. What we want to do is try and squeeze our legs apart to create some resistance on the resistance bands. And we're going to do that little sequence once again. So T-zone's on, spine is neutral, hands by our side, chins tucked, shoulders down and back. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's start to peel our spine off the floor. Good, so pelvic curl number 1 with a resistance band. All of a sudden, we've gone next level. Good. Keep exhaling, bottoms up. Really focus on squeezing, guys. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. If you're starting to get a cramp in your hamstring, you need to squeeze your bottom more. Good. T-zone stays on. Keep it going. I know that you want to give up right now. You don't need to give up. You have this. You can do this. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So knees need to stay parallel the whole exercise. If you've gone straight for black, please go to a pink one if this is really challenging, guys. There's no reason that you don't need to step it back down a little bit to still make it challenging. Just please make it manageable. Good. Just do 2 more here. Exhale, squeeze. And at the end of this rep, we're just gonna hold it up. Good, and now we're gonna open and close our legs. So pelvic curl number 2.
leg opening. So I want you to go a little bit faster now. Keep that bottom squeeze. Keep it squeezed. Let's go. Open and close those knees. Bottom stay strong, guys. No dropping it down, okay? Keep it up. T-zones on. Neutral spine. You've got this. Good. 2 more breaths. And when you're done, gently take your bottom to the floor. Well done. All right, we're going to keep that band where it is now, and we're going to go over onto one side. So this next set of exercises is called clams. And clams work through our bottom. So lying down on our side with our arm long, we want to keep our knees bent, hips bent, feet and knees stacked on top of each other. Reaching behind us and finding the back edge of the mat, we're going to scooch our bottom, that's not a real word, but it is now, scooching our bottom to the back edge of the mat, and then scooching our feet to the back edge of the mat as well. Making sure our hips are still stacked. If you've got a band, you can leave it on. If you find it too challenging, you can remove the band. We want to lift through our side waist, guys. So this is our side waist here, making sure that we've got a little bit of a train tunnel happening. Take an inhale, tighten your T-zone. And as you exhale, you want to squeeze your heels, squeeze your bottom and open your knees. Yes, and then inhale down. Keep going. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. Good. So as you exhale, open, really focus on not letting that hip roll back. We tend to try a little bit hard. We try and open our whole hip up. It's not necessary. We just want to make sure that we're getting that little bit of movement here and really squeezing through our side bottom, so our gluteus medius. Good. So exhale, open. And if you squeeze your heels, you will squeeze your bum. I call it synergistic muscle activation. That's not a term that anybody else has coined, but you heard it right here, right? Good. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Keep going. One more here. Good. And when you're done, just relaxing your legs down. Moving into clam 2 now. It's the same movement, but now we're going to take our feet into the air, making sure hips are stacked, T-zone still on, and side waist is lifted. We take an inhale here, and as we exhale, we open the knees. Inhale, close. So exactly the same as we just did before, but now our feet are in the air. Good. So exhale, open. So if you're really struggling now because the band is too much, feel free to get rid of the band. Nobody's judging. You've had a bad day, that's cool. Get rid of the band. If you want to make it harder, you can actually add a weight to your knee as well. And you can hold the weight here and make it harder. Good. So it's really important to keep our hips nice and stable. We've only got 2 to go. And when we're done, relaxing down. Nice. I'm going to move into a slightly different exercise now. So with this exercise, this is called CLAMB 1 kick out. So our legs are back in the CLAMB 1 position with our feet and our knees in line with the back edge of the mat. We take an inhale, tighten our T-zone, and as we exhale, we open our knee, not letting our hip roll back. And as we keep exhaling, we're going to take that leg, straighten it out, and take it back in line with the length of our body. Good. And then when we inhale, heels close together, and then we keep inhaling and we close our knees. So that's one movement, that's 1 rep. Good work. So we keep going. Exhale, open. Exhale, point the knee, straighten the leg, back in line with the body. Inhale, close the heels, and then inhale, close the knees. Good. So really focusing on, as we exhale, keeping that T-zone locked on as we take that leg behind us. We don't want to see our spinal position getting lost because we're trying to take that leg too long. So maybe you can remove the band if you want to. So I don't want this. That's not good for your back. We want to keep that T-zone on. So you should really start to feel this working a little bit lower in your bottom now. So I did say this was an arse blast and you asked for it. You asked for it. Sorry, that's my terrible sense of humor. One more here. Exhale. Squeeze it back. Good. Keeping that side waist lifted and closing it down. Give your bottom a nice big rub, guys. Well done. So we're going to head over to the other side now and do it all on side number 2. So moving on to side number 2, we're going to set ourselves up in exactly the same position. So long line down the length of the body, from the wrist to the shoulder and the hip. taking our top hand, finding the back edge of the mat and taking our bottom to meet that back edge. And then we're going to take our feet to meet the back edge as well. Lifting through the side waist. We're going to make sure our hips stay nice and stacked and T-zone is on. So we take an inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to squeeze our bottom, squeeze our heels and open our knees, lifting through our side waist. Inhale, close. So clam number 1 on side number 2. Hand in front, shoulder down and back, and we keep going. So we take an inhale as we close and exhale. Squeeze the heels, open the knees, squeeze the bottom, inhale down. Remembering not to let that top hip roll back. If you let it roll back, it means that you're taking the leg too far. If it's too challenging to use the band, please remove the band and do it without the band. If you'd like to make it harder, you can grab a weight and pop it on your knee and keep going. Very important though is to not let that hip roll back and to keep that side waist nice and lifted. Good. Keep going here, really squeezing and focusing, relaxing the head, relaxing the top shoulder down and back. Do one more here, well done. And then inhale, close. So clam number 2. Feet are up in the air, same position. We take an inhale, tighten T-zone, and as we exhale, we open the legs, squeezing the bottom, squeezing the heels, and inhale, close. So remember, side waist stays lifted, T-zone is on, guys. We still got a neutral spine. It's Pilates. We're always gonna have a neutral spine or an imprinted spine. We never let that slacken off. Good. So we keep going. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Nice. So really starting to notice that focus now, where the bottom is starting to get a little bit fatigued. So taking our attention there and breathing into that area. Exhale. Good. Well done. This is a challenge. You've built up to this. Now we don't want an asymmetrical bum, right? So however hard you worked on side 1, you have to work the same amount of challenge on side 2. Because I tell you what, nobody wants a bottom hanging out the bottom of 3/4 pants, right? Especially if it's only one cheek. That's a terrible joke. So we've got one more here. Even the Kardashians couldn't make an asymmetrical butt look good. And relaxing. Taking our feet now to the floor, moving into clam 1 kick out. So remember, our bottoms and our feet are still aligned on the back edge of the mat. From here, we take an inhale, tighten T-zone, open our knees on the exhale. As we keep exhaling, we straighten the legs, point the toe, take the leg back in line with the length of the body, keeping T-zone on. Then we inhale, close the heels, and then inhale, close the knees. Good, and we just keep going. So exhale, keep exhaling. Inhale, close it off. Keep inhaling, closing the knee down. So your focus, remember, is to keep that bottom nice and tight, keeping the hips stacked, not letting that hip roll back as you open the knee. And remember, if you've got the band on and you're like, I can't even do this anymore, I couldn't even do another rep at all, keep going and just take the band off. Good. You can do this, you've got this. Keep going, we've got one more here. Exhale, squeeze the bottom, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. And inhale, close. Well done, guys. Well, that's the end of our Arse Blast class. I hope you really enjoyed some of the exercises that we did. Your bottom will be sore. When you're ready, have a look at some of the other videos and we'll hang out again. See you soon.